I used to believe family would show up, especially when you need them the most. But when I collapsed at work from exhaustion, the doctors called the only people I trusted to love me, and they never came. Instead, 3 days later, still hooked to machines, fighting to stay alive, I opened my phone and found out exactly where my family really was and what they were doing. That was the moment everything changed. Not for them, for me. My name is Ava Miller, and for most of my life, I thought being dependable meant being loved. I woke up every morning before sunrise, dragged myself into long hours at Green Tech Engineering, and worked until the walls blurred and the office turned dark. My coworkers thought I was driven. My boss used to smile and say, "Ava is the engine that keeps this place moving," even though I was braking. But the truth? I wasn't staying late to impress anyone. I was staying late because my family needed me. Or at least that's what I believed. I paid my mom's car insurance. I paid my dad's property taxes. I covered the mortgage late fees. I sent my little sister money. Just for this month, I wired money to my older sister every time her influencer projects collapsed. Every week, money disappeared from my bank account, quietly, like blood loss. My father, Robert, had been between jobs for 7 years. My mother, Eleanor, loved to remind me how hard things were for them. My older sister, Marissa, posted inspirational quotes on Instagram while draining my savings for her next big launch. My youngest sister, Peyton, never argued. She just borrowed, then forgot she had borrowed. From the outside, we looked perfect. Holiday photos, matching pajamas, fake smiles, a normal, loving American family. But underneath, I was suffocating, and nobody noticed. Or maybe nobody cared enough to look deeper. The night before everything collapsed, I was still at the office past 10 p.m. Everyone else had gone home. The building was silent, except for the buzzing fluorescent lights above me. My chest hurt. My hands shook. My vision blurred on the screen. But I kept typing. Suddenly my phone buzzed. Marissa. "Hey sis, rent is late again. Can you send me $1,600? Promise I'll pay you back next month." I stared at the message. My heart tightened. My fingers trembled. I typed, "Sure." It was the last message I sent, before the world went black. The hospital. The ceiling was white when I opened my eyes. The air was cold. My body felt heavy. Machines beeped in slow rhythm as if counting down the seconds. A doctor stood beside me, his voice calm, too calm. "You experienced a cardiac event. You're very lucky your coworker found you when they did." Lucky. Lucky? Lucky shouldn't be what keeps you alive. Love should. Care should. Someone showing up should. I asked, "Did anyone call my family?" The nurse swallowed carefully. "We left several messages for them." Several. Silence. No replies. No visits. No calls. Nothing. Third day. On the third day, a nurse wheeled in my phone fully charged. I shouldn't have checked it, but I did. My hands shook as I unlocked the screen. Not a missed call. Not a worried text. Not even a simple, "Are you okay?" Just a notification. "You've been tagged in a post." My stomach dropped as I tapped the screen. The photo loaded slowly. Sunlight, a lake, picnic table, coolers, smiling faces. My parents, my sisters, laughing, eating, celebrating, like nothing happened. The caption burned into my eyes. Family day without the drama. Rama, that's what I was to them. Rama, not a daughter, not a sister, not family. Drama. The heart monitor beside me spiked. My pulse raced. Suddenly I understood something horrifying. They didn't forget me. They excluded me on purpose. I didn't react. I didn't cry. I didn't text them. I didn't call. I just stared until the screen dimmed and showed my reflection staring back. Pale, drained, tired, but suddenly clear. Clarity hurts differently. It doesn't cut. It freezes you. Day 4. The next day, the messages started exploding. 74 missed calls. Texts, voicemails, more texts. My father finally sent one. "We need you. Call immediately." Not, "How are you?" Not, "Are you alive?" Just, "We need you." Because something was falling apart on their end. Not mine. I read it twice. Then locked the phone and said nothing. The only person I called. Instead, I scrolled down to another name. Grandpa Joe. The only man who ever saw me, ever understood me. I hit call. He answered on the second ring. He didn't say hello. He said, "You don't have to explain." And for the first time in years, someone spoke to me like I mattered. Grandpa Joe arrived 42 minutes later. Same old brown windbreaker, same quiet eyes. He didn't hug me. He didn't ask questions. He just pulled up a chair beside my hospital bed, sat down and let the silence speak first. It felt like oxygen. Eventually, he looked at the monitors beside me and said, "So they finally broke you?" I let out a weak laugh. "Guess so." He nodded once, slow, knowing, like he'd seen this ending long before I did. The audit. That afternoon, while I tried to sit upright, he pulled out his tablet and opened a spreadsheet. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Taking stock," he said. Then he glanced at me over his glasses. "Before you cut cords, you need to know where they all lead." And just like that, we started pulling apart my life financially, piece by piece, line by line, subscription by subscription, payment by payment. And the deeper we went, the sicker I felt. The truth in numbers. There were payments I didn't even remember setting up. Automatic transfers every Friday to Marissa. Payments scheduled monthly for Peyton's rent. My mother's car insurance. A utilities bill for a home I didn't live in. A credit card line tied to my father's account. My bank statements looked less like expenses and more like evidence. Evidence of quiet exploitation. Evidence of emotional manipulation. Evidence of me being the family's lifeline. While dying inside. "Dave," Grandpa spoke slowly. "You thought you were giving them love," he said. "But they thought you were giving them obligation." Then he paused. "Those are different currencies." I swallowed hard, because he was right. For years I believed loyalty healed everything. All it did was break me quietly. "Dave," the first cut. The next morning, still in my hospital bed, I called the bank. My voice shook. My hands sweated. But step by step, I cancelled every auto transfer, every silent payment, every savings leak. Marissa's weekly deposit, gone. Peyton's rent support, stopped. Mom's car insurance, removed. Dad's credit line, severed. Each confirmation message felt like exhaling for the first time in years. Dave, the aftermath begins. By that night, the storm hit. My phone buzzed constantly. First Mom. "Why didn't you tell us you were sick?" "We're worried." Then Peyton. "It's not fair you cut us off like this. Can we talk?" Then Marissa. "Are you insane? My account is empty. Fix this now." Then Dad. "Call me immediately. This is serious." I didn't respond. Not once. Not to a single one. Dave, did the guilt. After an hour of silence, Grandpa finally asked, "Feeling guilty yet?" I nodded. "Yeah, a little." He folded his arms. "That'll pass." I looked at him confused. He added quietly, "Guilt is the tax good people pay before freedom." I'll never forget that line. Dave, leaving the hospital. 2 days later, the hospital discharged me. Grandpa drove me home. The sun looked unfamiliar. My apartment felt foreign, like a place I had lived but never really belonged. I unplugged my phone, turned it face down, sat alone in silence, and just breathed. Dave, the collapse begins on their side. The calls intensified. The messages shifted tone. "Mom, we didn't know. Please just call." Dad, "Mortgage is overdue again. We need you." Marissa, "I won't survive if you don't fix this." Peyton, "I'm begging you." Not once did any of them ask, "Are you okay?" Not once. Not even accidentally. Dave, the stakeout. 3 days later, I noticed a car idling outside my building. Dad, sitting in the driver's seat, waiting, watching, like I was a bank closed without warning. He didn't text. He just waited. But I never went down. Dave, the influencer meltdown. That night, Marissa posted a long emotional video. Crying. Mascara streaming. Voice trembling. She walked through the house on camera, recording all the empty rooms. "They took everything," she cried. And Ava let them. Then she showed an old picture of us on Christmas. And captioned it, "Sometimes blood doesn't mean family." The comments exploded. People defended her. People attacked me. People chose sides. People speculated. People judged. Strangers wrote paragraphs about a life they knew nothing about. The turning point. Grandpa watched the video calmly, then stood up and made 3 phone calls. Quiet, precise, professional. Within 48 hours he had every document, every mortgage statement, every loan default record, every equity withdrawal, every financial lie. Each one pointed to the truth. My family had bled their own future dry, and used me as the transfusion. The big reveal. We didn't have to expose anyone. The numbers did it for us, and when the truth leaked, their online empire collapsed. Brand deals pulled out. Partnerships ended. Collaborations cancelled. Public sympathy vanished. And overnight, the same people cheering for them turned against them. The final meeting attempt. Days later, Peyton showed up outside my building. She shouted at the intercom. She argued with security. She paced in circles in the rain. I watched through the peephole, frozen, silent, because I had nothing left to give. The new attack. Then they tried something new, something darker. They began the paperwork, to take legal guardianship over me, to control my finances, my decisions, my life, permanently. They tried to legally take everything, because they thought I was weak enough to lose it. But they didn't expect him. Grandpa Joe had already filed a protective trust in my name. He had already organized my medical documentation. He had already secured legal representation. He had already anticipated the attack and crushed it before it began. Their final weapon failed. The conservatorship request died instantly. Rejected. Denied. Dead. Silence again. That night, I sat in Grandpa's quiet house. He made tea. The clock ticked. Rain hit the windows. He looked at me and said, "You're not broken." Then added, "You were being used. Now you're not." And somehow, that was the first time in my life. I believed it. The next morning, I woke up at Grandpa Joe's house. And for the first time in years, there were no notifications waiting for me. No demands, no emergencies, no guilt, just sunlight and silence. The house felt like memory. Old wooden floors, framed black and white photos, the smell of coffee and toast. It felt like childhood. It felt like safety. But my mind was still a battlefield. The internal war. Even though I knew I'd done the right thing, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had abandoned them, that I'd betrayed them, that I'd failed them, and myself. Because when you're raised to sacrifice, freedom feels like selfishness. The note. After breakfast, Grandpa set a folded piece of paper in front of me. Nothing written on the front. Blank. Silent. Makes decisions easier, he said. Inside there were 2 columns. What I give and what I get. He handed me a pen. "Write honestly," he said. Then he walked away, leaving me alone with it. The list. Under what I give. I filled the page. Money, rent, help, support, time, energy, sacrifice, patience, forgiveness. And love. Those lines stretched endlessly. Then I moved to the other side. What I get. Silence, pressure, expectation, insults, criticism, debt, stress, blame, emptiness. And right then, I realized something horrifying. I had built an entire life where I was valued only when I was useful. The shatter point. When Grandpa came back, he sat down quietly and studied the list. He didn't judge it. He didn't comment. He simply said, "I know that look." I frowned. "What look?" "The look of someone realizing," he said, "that love shouldn't hurt." The letter. Later that afternoon, he slid another piece of paper toward me. This one wasn't blank. It had my name on it. Inside was a handwritten letter I didn't even remember writing, because I wrote it when I was 16, when Mom kicked me out for the first time, when I slept on Grandpa's couch for a week. It said, "I promise when I grow up, I'll save everyone." 16-year-old me believed that so deeply. I had ruined myself trying to fulfill it. The breakdown. I finally cried. Really cried. Not pretty tears. Not quiet tears, but ugly, shaking, broken crying. The kind that comes from too many years of silence. Grandpa just held my hand. No words. No advice. Just presence. Sometimes that's everything. The shift. That night, Grandpa helped me outline what he called the restart plan. We made steps. Small ones. 1, rest. 2, healing. 3, boundaries. 4, independence. 5, no debt to anyone. 6, no guilt. 7, no apologies for surviving. Those 7 rules became law. The call he made. The next morning he called a lawyer again, not for protection, but for something bigger, something foundational. He started the paperwork to separate me legally from every shared account, every shared liability, and every invisible financial chain. This time, for good, the family backlash. That same afternoon, they found out, and instantly, my phone blew up again. "Mom, how could you do this to us?" "Dad, we built everything together. Don't abandon us." "Peyton, this isn't fair." "Marissa, you are ruining our lives." Not one message asked. "Are you safe? Are you recovering? Do you need support?" Not one. The hardest part, I wanted to reply. I really did, because trauma bonds look like loyalty. I stared at the phone for hours, debating, hurting, breaking inside. Grandpa sat beside me, quiet, present, watching. Then he finally whispered, "Love isn't measured in debt." And I put the phone down. The next step, the following day, Grandpa drove me to a therapist. The office was peaceful. Soft lighting, warm blankets. And that room was where I spoke honestly for the first time in my life. About expectations, about pressure, about fear, about exhaustion, about identity, about the wedding. But how she said, "You're not good enough to be there." And how that sentence destroyed me more every hour. The realization, the therapist asked me one question. "When did you stop believing you deserved love?" I couldn't answer, because I couldn't remember. The first night of peace. That night, for the first time in years, I slept. Not passed out exhaustion, not collapse. Actual sleep. Deep, quiet, healing. And when I woke up, Everything felt slightly clearer. Not healed. Just clearer. The unexpected message. Sunday morning, my phone lit up. From a number I didn't recognize. It said, "Ava, it's me." 2 words followed. Words that froze my blood. Words that changed everything. "We need money." Sunday morning, my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't the usual anger. It wasn't shouting. It wasn't guilt. It was desperation. From Peyton, my sister. The same sister who told me I wasn't good enough after I paid for everything. Her message said, "We need money." No greeting. No apology. No explanation. Just need. Again. The old instinct. And for the first time, my instinct wasn't to grab my wallet. It wasn't to ask how much. It wasn't to apologize. It wasn't to sacrifice myself again. Instead, I stood still. Completely still. And I finally noticed something. Giving was automatic. Being needed was familiar. But being respected, being valued, that was foreign. The call begins. Peyton called me immediately. She didn't even wait for me to respond. I answered. Silence for 3 seconds. Then she said, voice shaking, "The wedding went wrong." I froze. "What do you mean?" "We're ruined," she whispered. "We need help. Not emotionally. Financially, again." Her reason. She explained. The venue demanded additional payments. The caterers charged more. The decorations cost extra. The photography team doubled rates. Guests complained. The credit cards maxed out. The bills exploded overnight. She said, "We can't afford any of it. We have to pay. You're the only one who can fix this." The request. Then she said the words my entire family always used when they wanted something. "You know you're responsible, right?" Responsible. That word stabbed, because responsibility was their excuse to use me. My response. For the first time in my life, I said a full sentence. A complete sentence, and it terrified me. I said, "No." Silence. Heavy silence. I repeated it. "No." Calm, steady, certain. She sounded shocked, like she didn't recognize me. Then the mask dropped. The explosion. Her voice turned sharp. "How can you be like this? You're abandoning your family. You owe us. You ruined the wedding. This is your fault. You made promises. You can't just leave us like this. You're heartless. You're selfish. You've changed." Every sentence was a weapon. My hands shook. My breath trembled. My heart pounded. But I didn't break. The truth I finally spoke. I took a breath. And for the first time ever, I spoke honestly. I said, "I have given everything I had. I have nothing left to give. And I refuse to destroy myself anymore." Dead silence. Then I ended the call. The aftermath. My body trembled for an hour. Guilt tried to drown me. Fear tried to crush me. Because when you say no after a lifetime of being used, it feels violent even when it's necessary. But something else was there too. Something new. Something unfamiliar. Relief. The message I didn't expect. Later that evening, Grandpa found me on the porch. He handed me his phone. "It came for you," he said softly. It was a voice message. From him, my father. His voice sounded tired and older than I remembered. He said, "I'm sorry for everything. You didn't deserve any of it." My breath vanished. I wasn't prepared at all. The confession. He continued, "I should have protected you. I should have stopped your mother. I should have seen what was happening. I should have fought for you. And then, I'm proud of you for finally walking away." Those words hit me harder than anything else, because I had waited my entire life to hear them. The breakthrough. That night, in complete silence, I realized something huge. Sometimes family isn't defined by blood. Sometimes family is defined by who shows up, and who doesn't. The decision. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I made a decision. I would not return. Not to the financial chains. Not to the emotional prison. Not to the guilt. Not to the role I was forced to play. Tomorrow I would start over. Completely. From zero. On my own terms. My life. My rules. My peace. Finally. The final scene of this part. As I drifted to sleep, Grandpa squeezed my hand and said, "You didn't lose a family today. You finally found yourself." And for the first time, I believed him. The aftershock. The next morning felt unreal. The house was quiet. Peaceful. Almost too peaceful. Because my entire life, silence usually meant danger. But this time, silence meant freedom. For the first time, I woke up without an obligation. Without a demand. Without fear. Just stillness. Her new message. At 8:14 a.m., my phone buzzed again. A text from Peyton. No insults this time. Just, "Can we talk?" I stared at it. Not because I wanted to reply, but because it showed something important. For the first time ever, she needed words. Not money. That was new. The surprise visitor. Around noon, I heard a car outside. I looked through the window and froze. It wasn't Peyton. It wasn't the groom. It wasn't a family member. It was my mother, the last person I wanted to see. The confrontation. She walked in like she owned the ground. No hesitation. No guilt. No shame. She said, "We need to discuss your behavior." My behavior, not theirs. Mine. She sat down across from me. Calm, cold. She folded her arms and tilted her head. "You are abandoning your responsibilities, and this entire family is suffering because of you." Then she leaned in and whispered, "You need to fix this, immediately." The switch flipped, and I realized something. She didn't come to apologize. She didn't come for closure. She came to regain control, because control was her addiction. And I was supposed to be the supply, but not anymore. My answer. My voice didn't shake. My hands didn't tremble. My heart didn't race. I simply said, "I don't owe you anything anymore." Her entire expression changed. Shock, disbelief, rage. She said, "You're making a mistake." I replied, "No, I'm correcting one. The real reason." She stood up, angry, ready to attack. And then she said the most truthful words of the entire conversation. "Without you, we have nothing." There it was. The truth. Not love, not support, not connection. Dependence. Financial dependence. I was never family. I was supply. The breaking point. My mother walked out without another word. No hug, no goodbye. No remorse. Just silence and the sound of her car pulling away. Grandpa walked in slowly and sat beside me. No lecture. No pressure. No judgment. He said 2 words. Proud moment. And I broke. Cried into my hands like a child. Because letting go hurts, even when it's right. The most shocking part. Later that night, Peyton finally sent her last message. Not asking for money. Not demanding anything. Just 10 words. "I understand if you never speak to me again." That line destroyed me more than the insults. Because that's when I knew. She finally realized the truth. The vow. As I stared at the ceiling, I made a promise. I would build a life not defined by sacrifice. Not built on guilt. Not controlled by fear. But shaped by choice and peace. For the first time, my life belonged to me. The call that changed everything. 3 days later, I woke up to a call at 6:27 a.m. Not from my parents. Not from my sister. From the hospital. The doctor spoke quietly, carefully, like each word weighed something. "We need to update you on your condition." My chest tightened. Not from fear. From memory. The truth about my body. When I went in for tests, they found more damage than expected. My collapse hadn't been random. It wasn't just exhaustion. It wasn't just stress. It was years of pushing myself past the point of breaking. Years of being everything to everyone. Years of being responsible for lives that weren't even mine. The warning. The doctor said, "If you go back to how you used to live, you won't survive another year." Simple. Direct. Unavoidable. Not a suggestion. A sentence. The fear I hid. When I hung up the phone, I sat there, alone, in a silence that felt colder than any winter wind. Because for the first time, I understood. I wasn't recovering from one collapse. I was recovering from an entire childhood pattern. The realization, I wasn't dying because of work. I wasn't dying because of pressure. I was dying because I forgot I was allowed to matter too. Because I only knew how to give, never how to live. The decision. That morning I opened a blank page on my laptop, and I typed 4 words. My new life begins. Not dramatic, not poetic. Just real. A declaration. A promise. A beginning. The first step. Grandpa knocked lightly on the doorframe. Coffee in hand. He asked, "You ready?" I didn't know what he meant. So I asked, "For what?" He smiled softly. "To start living." The break of dawn. We drove. No destination. No plan. No purpose. Just open road. Just air. Just silence that wasn't painful anymore. He said, "You spent your whole life saving people. It's time to save yourself." And somehow, I believed him. The small things. We stopped for pancakes. Listened to an old radio. Talked about nothing important and everything meaningful. For the first time, I laughed. Not because I had to, but because someone gave me space to. The crossroad. Later, standing in the sunlight, Grandpa said, "You're not alone anymore, but you'll have to learn how to live like you're not." And I knew he was right. Letting go was only step 1. Learning to heal is step 2. The turning point. That night before I slept, I looked out the window and realized something incredible. I wasn't afraid of tomorrow. Not anymore. Until the next story, take care of yourself, set your boundaries, and never forget your worth.